Meet the sports prodigies. When childhood involves a little less imagination and a little more practice makes perfect, sports prodigies make their peers seem simple and their elders, well, elderly. But while many teen and tiny sensations have left competitions with heavy metals around their necks, some burn out just as fast as they arrived on the scene. They may defy what is normal for people their ages, but they can never defy the truth. There are some child prodigies whose success lasted well into old age, like Shirley Temple, who went from Hollywood's greatest child star by the time she turned 7.
I can hardly wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
To a career in politics, acting as a US ambassador to Czechoslovakia during the Velvet Revolution. While others never got to old age, like musical genius Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who was an accomplished pianist by the age of 5, but died 30 years later, leaving many wondering what other musical masterpieces went to the grave with one of the world's greatest ever composers. And then there are those like the late actor Gary Coleman, who never lived up to all that youthful potential. The sports world isn't any different, with some athletes like hockey legend and NHL all-time leading scorer Wayne Gretzky hitting the spotlight early and sustaining that momentum later in life too. There were those who passed away in their prime, like Steve Prefontaine, who once held 7 different track, middle, and long-distance running records before dying in a car crash at age 24. And then there are those thrust into the spotlight at a young age, only to crash and burn really badly. Take Jennifer Capriati. By the age of 14, the tennis prodigy was one of the top 10 players in the world and went on to win 3 Grand Slams and an Olympic gold. But unable to handle the pressure of expectation, Capriati took time off at age 18. She came back, but struggled with drugs, depression, and anger management, attempting suicide in 2010. Football's biggest child prodigy fail may have been Freddie Adu. Dubbed the next Pelé, Adu was the youngest ever player to appear in an American pro sport at age 14. But after unsuccessful tryouts with Manchester United and Real Madrid, he became a journeyman and an unfortunate example of unfulfilled promise. Coming up, the young guns of skateboarding. Shaun White is a rare breed of athlete. That's because he was already turning heads for his skateboard exploits when he was just 9 years of age, leaving the Birdman himself, Tony Hawk, gobsmacked by his skills. Same deal with Kelly Slater, who got into surfing as a kid at Cocoa Beach, Florida, only to turn into the king of surfing and the youngest world champion at just 20 years of age. It seems board sports are a perfect breeding ground for some of the greatest sports prodigies. He's loved by some, loathed by others. Say what you will about skateboard superstar Ryan Sheckler, the boy can ride a board. Considering he's been doing so since he was just 2 years of age, more than just a hunk of cool-looking maple wood, his skateboard has become an appendage.
Skateboarding saved my life, for sure. I was always super adventurous, and, you know, I figured out how to get on the second story of the roof when I was like 3 years old, and, you know, got electrocuted real bad, and then all of a sudden I found skateboarding. And, you know, that was when I was about 4 years old, and I really started skating and, you know, standing up on the board, trying to learn tricks. And, you know, as that progressed, I won my first contest when I was 7 years old, and then that's when it all started.
What it started was Sheckler sifting through and signing sponsorship deals at just 7 years of age. He turned pro in his early teens, and by the time he was 20, he already had 2 Summer X Games gold medals and a show on MTV, leaving him wanting more.
You know, more skating and, you know, more movies and more TV. You know, I'm gonna do it all because I can.
The boy has since become a man, and his desire to look out for those kids who see him as a role model led Sheckler to start a foundation in his name, created to assist children injured in sport.
How you doing?
Knowing what these kids are going through opened my eyes to a whole different world. It's such a blessing where I'm at in my career. One of the coolest things that I've ever been privileged to do is do my foundation and work with these kids. Skateboarding for me is freedom. You know, I get on my board and you can't tell me anything. That's my time. Who knows what the future holds? That's what's so beautiful about it. You wake up every day and you go out on the streets and you don't know what's gonna happen.
In 2005, skateboarder and snowboarder Shaun White tried and failed the 1080 29 times at the X Games, and 1 year later tried and failed it on 21 occasions. Known as the holy grail of skateboarding tricks, there was one 6-year-old boy in the stands who watched White's failed attempts with the hopes of achieving the feat himself. 6 years later, every skateboarder's dream became Tom Schaar's reality. Granted, it happened while skating the custom-built mega ramp in California, which enabled Schaar to maintain top speed for maximum spin, but the 12-year-old set a world record mark nonetheless.
I landed the first ever 1080 on a skateboard, so I'm pretty stoked. I had a good feeling that I was holding on to my board, and I was definitely high enough, and I could tell I was spinning fast enough, and right about at the 720, I saw the coping again, and I was still 2-3 feet above coping, and I got around that last 360, and I was just amazed.
So with the 1080 under his belt, Schaar went for it again, and... mission accomplished. Later that year, Schaar became the first competitor to land the 1080 in competition and the youngest X Games gold medalist when he took top spot at the 2012 Asia X Games in Shanghai. Adding another gold in 2014, Schaar tallied 5 X Games medals by the age of 50. It's safe to say the sky's the limit for the boy from Malibu. She started rock climbing when she was 6 and competitive climbing when she was 8. By the time she turned 11, she had already climbed her first 5.13. So when Sasha DeJulian moved to New York to become a business major at Columbia University, the mountains became more than a challenge, but a refuge for her young mind.
I like being able to relax, and I'm never truly relaxed when I'm in New York. You go out to dinner, you go out to a club. That's kind of like the social scene in a city. When I'm outside, it's much easier because nature kind of lends its way to escaping. "60 feet, 6 bolts. Ow! What I love most about climbing is the fact that you completely zone into this other realm of existence. It's just the rock face and you existing in that moment. You're performing for yourself. It's you against your mind, really.
And when she's been up against her mind, she's usually come out on top. In fact, in 2015, she became the first female to free climb Magic Mushroom, one of the most difficult routes on the north face of the Eiger, a 3,970-meter mountain in the Swiss Alps. She also became female world champion in 2011. DeJulian isn't the only female sports prodigy coming out of the United States. The Olympic Games have been the stage for some of their greatest teen sensations, ever since Marjorie Gestring won gold in the 3-meter springboard at the 1936 Games in Berlin. In doing so, she became the youngest person ever to win an Olympic gold medal at the age of 13 years and 268 days. And considering the minimum age for athletes at the Games is now 14, her record may never be broken. At the London 2012 Games, 2 teenagers stood out from the rest of the Stars and Stripes. One was Gabby Douglas, the Virginia native who became the first American gymnast to win gold in both the individual all-round and team competitions at the same Games as a 16-year-old, leading a group of young gymnasts known as the Fierce Five.
All I can say is there's no magic, there's no secrets, it's just talent, and it takes a lot of effort in the gym, a lot of determination and passion, and we're definitely strong, and we're all like sisters. I mean, we have this bond and this communication which is very strong.
Douglas also became the first African-American woman in Olympic history to be named individual all-round champion.
Oh man, it feels definitely amazing. I mean, it's such a great honor that I get to inspire these young girls, and that's always been my thing. I always wanted to inspire people, so I can check that off my bucket list.
Another inspiring teen was found in the pool. Katie Ledecky made her international swimming debut at the 2012 Games as a 15-year-old, leaving London the 800-meter freestyle gold medalist with the second fastest time in history.
Just being here is such an accomplishment and a great honor. And to be in a race with all of those great swimmers and to come out with the gold is great.
Her impact since London has been explosive. Already holding the record for most individual swimming records at the World Championships, Ledecky became the youngest person on Time magazine's Time 100 list in 2016. After the break, from high school to superstardom. The NBA is clearly a big man's game. But there once was a time when high schoolers were so coveted, they bypassed college altogether and held their own as boys amongst men. That's until 2006, when the NBA implemented their so-called one-and-done rule, which required players to be at least a year removed from high school to be eligible for the NBA draft. And with that rule, young stars became old news, even if the jump has seen some of the game's greatest players. When the late Moses Malone was drafted out of Petersburg High School as a 19-year-old, he really put high school ballers on the map. That's because he went on to become a rebounding machine, averaging 12.2 per game over the course of his 20-year career, earning the nickname the Chairman of the Boards. But that wasn't all. Malone also averaged 20.6 points per contest, played in 12 All-Star games, and was a part of the All-NBA first team 4 times, won 3 MVP awards, and took home the NBA championship in 1983. In the 80s, it was Shaun Kemp who gave high school ball a good name. Drafted by the Seattle Supersonics in 1989 off his high school game tape, Kemp became an elite NBA power forward, making 6 All-Star games. In the 90s, it was Kevin Garnett who brought in a new wave of school ballers when he was taken by the Minnesota Timberwolves with the 5th pick in the '95 draft. Garnett was all heart, winning league MVP honors in 2004 and Defensive Player of the Year honors in 2008, the same year he won the championship with the Celtics. Nothing was impossible with Garnett, except perhaps a career in coaching.
A coach? Hell no. A coach is what I won't be. You can't talk me into that. My sister's pretty good at talking me into things. My daughters are pretty good at persuading me to things. My wife, Charles, here and there, is pretty good at persuading me to things. But you can't persuade me to coach. That's a big H-E-L-L-N-A-H. No. Not a no, but a no.
Like his idol Garnett, center Dwight Howard chose to forego a college education and ended up drafted by the Orlando Magic with the 1st overall pick in 2004. The 3-time Defensive Player of the Year became a monster 2-way player, averaging over 17 points a game over the course of his career. Ironically, things came to a head between the 2 players in 2015, when Garnett headbutted Howard following an innocuous play under the basket, causing KG to get ejected.
It doesn't matter, we won the game. That's all that matters.
One of the greatest high schoolers who turned pro didn't even play a second for the team that drafted him. In 1996, the Charlotte Hornets selected Kobe Bryant, only to trade him to the Los Angeles Lakers for Vlade Divac. Oops. One of the most complete players the game has ever seen, Black Mamba ended his 20-year career in 2016, an 18-time All-Star, 15-time member of the All-NBA team, 12-time member of the All-Defensive team, and 5-time NBA champion. About that retirement, in Kobe's final game, he ended up scoring a season-high 60 points, including 23 in the 4th quarter, to lead the Lakers, a team he spent a record 20 years with, to a 101-96 victory. The fans went wild, the media went wild, and even his kids went wild.
The coolest thing is that my kids actually saw me play like I used to play. You know what I mean? It was like, whoa, Dad. And I said, yeah, I used to do this pretty often. They were like, really? It's like, dude, YouTube it. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool for them to actually see that.
And finally, LeBron James was already anointed the king before he even set foot in the NBA. But he's proven the moniker fits like a glove. Selected in the 2003 draft, 1st overall by his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron has averaged more than 27 points and 7 rebounds per game over the course of his illustrious career. One that has seen him win 3 NBA titles, including his first with the Cavs in 2016, which garnered him his 3rd Finals MVP award and Cleveland its first sports championship in 52 years in an emotional return to glory. Much has been said about Tiger Woods and his golfing career that arguably has just one rival, Jack Nicklaus. But it seems nobody can rival Tiger's early claim to fame, that of hitting golf balls on American television as a 2-year-old with great precision. His first of 5 junior titles and a hole-in-one came when he was just 8. And soon he would win 3 consecutive USGA junior titles as a team. His first majors title came at just 21 years of age, and the rest is golfing history. On the women's side, Michelle Wie was head and shoulders above her peers as a 13-year-old golfer, able to out-hit all the boys her age. In fact, when she turned 14, her parents decided the women's tour was too easy for their daughter, and so the big Wheezy teed off against the men. She had million-dollar deals with sponsors like Nike and Sony, but after missing cut after cut, with her image in the golfing world ailing as badly as her weakened wrists and overall world ranking, Wee went back to school. She graduated from Stanford University in 2012, and 2 years later won her first major, the 2014 US Open, a course she'd grown accustomed to as a child.
US Opens have been such a special part of my life, just because I get to see everyone again. It's like seeing old family and friends. But yeah, just everything kind of I've been through, all the ups and all the downs. You know, it's all worth it.
One girl we did inspire was another golfing prodigy, Lydia Ko. But Ko's family was determined to avoid Wee's pitfalls. And despite quickly earning a top 3 ranking in her rookie year, Ko's profile remained low-key.
I don't feel like the world number 3. A lot of people, when people tell me that and ask me stuff about it, then I go, oh yeah, I am. But me, I just feel like a normal teenager, and I think that's what makes it more fun and exciting, because I don't have to think about everything else. All I need to think about is just hitting the white ball into the hole.
Ko hit the white ball so well, she became the youngest world number 1, male or female, when she hit top spot in February 2015 at 17 years, 9 months and 8 days. Later that year, she won her first LPGA major, the Evian Championship in France, in devastating fashion, 6 strokes ahead of the runner-up. At just over 18 years of age, she was the youngest ever major champion.
Yesterday during my press conference, I said, winning at any age is amazing, at a major, and all players want to peak at their best at a major, and to say that I'm the youngest, in history for now, it's so cool.
In April 2016, she took things a step further, becoming the youngest player to win 2 women's major championships when she won the ANA Inspiration, earning her a leap into Poppy's Pond. Still to come, driving without training wheels. If you had a Formula One car in your garage, chances are you'd never leave the keys to a teenager. That's unless perhaps your teenager was Fernando Alonso. The Spaniard now has more than 15 years F1 experience, but he started really green, having made his debut as a 19-year-old. And you'd probably turn a blind eye if your youngster was Sebastian Vettel, who joined the Red Bull Junior team at just 11 years of age, before becoming F1's youngest ever world champion in 2010 at 23 years, 130 days. And then there's, of course, Max Verstappen. The son of former Formula One driver Jos, Max was born with racing in his veins. Aged 17 years, 166 days, he became the youngest driver to compete in Formula One at the 2015 Australian Grand Prix. He is also the youngest driver to lead a lap during a Formula One Grand Prix and the youngest driver to secure a podium. Then at the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix, Verstappen was promoted to Red Bull Racing from Team Toro Rosso, and he thanked them by taking home the checkered flag. At 18 years and 227 days, he became the youngest ever winner of a Formula One Grand Prix, and the first under the Dutch flag, proving Dad did all right to trust him with the keys.
My dad was, I think he was crying, and he was incredibly happy. I mean, best result for a Dutchman as well. My dad finished twice third, so now, incredible achievement from I think our side, I would say, because he helped me a lot, also in the beginning of my career up until Formula One, and I think without him, I wouldn't have won today.
In European football, there is an award known as the Golden Boy Award, given to the best under-21 player of the year. Some, like Lionel Messi, lived up to all their potential. Others, like Mario Balotelli, clearly haven't. The world game has proven that you are either born with sublime skill, like Pelé, the youngest World Cup winner at just 17, or you're not, forcing you to take up something else. Ultimately, you can have the makings of the next sports prodigy, but as Gordon B. Hinckley said, without hard work, nothing grows but weeds. And that is the truth.